Hi, I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Boss Waza Tube Amp Expander. If you like what we do, it would really help us if you liked and subscribed. And don't forget to click on that little bell button down there and you'll be notified of any future videos that come out from the Studio Rats. So what is the Tube Amp Expander? Well, the Tube Amp Expander is a load box and an attenuator. Now what that means is you can plug up to a 150 watt valve amplifier into this unit and then plug your guitar speaker from this unit into the tube expander. Then you can reduce the volume, so you can really crank up the level of your valve amplifier and reduce the volume that's coming out of your guitar speaker. Now, not only does it do that, but it also has Xlr outputs, so you can send those outputs to front of house into the PA, or you can send them into your recording interface. And also you can change the type of the speakers that you're playing through. So for instance, you can plug into 1x12s, 2x12s, 4x12s, 4x10s, and have different sounds going to the PA or your recording interface. And lastly, why I think that this attenuator load box is a cut above the rest is the effects that are in it. So not only can you send the effects out through the Xlr output, so to your interface and to the PA, but you can also route those effects to your guitar speaker. So if you're on stage and you've got a 4x12, you can route the reverbs and the delays and the compression straight through to your guitar speaker. So today what I'm going to be doing is to be looking at the software. Now I'd love to cover everything in one video, but there's so much going on with this unit that there's far too much to cover. So we're just going to look at the software today and creating sounds. So first of all, down the left hand side you've got all your different rigs. Now I've created a load of rigs here already. I've changed the presets and created my own sounds. So let's just go through a couple of those first of all. So I've chosen rig 6. Now, all of these are presets that come with the Tube Amp Expander. Now, I've changed these ones here, but we're going to start with rig 6 as this is one of the presets that comes with the Tube Amp Expander. Now, let's turn off the reverb to start with. And I'm going to go down to the amp simulator here. Now, this is where we can choose all of the different types of speakers and microphones. So we've got all these different types of speakers that we can choose, and we can even load IRs down into these user sections down here. But I'm going to keep it on the standard 4x12, which is the first choice. Now, here's where we choose our mic type. So we can choose between a 57, a 421, a 451, a condenser 87, and a ribbon 121. I'm going to keep it on the 421 as I really like the sound of that. It's a nice, bright, upfront sound. Now, the mic distance is all dependent on the room mic as well. So just for the moment, just so we can demonstrate it, let's switch it on to the long setting and let's put the room mic on big room. Now you can really hear the ambience around that microphone. Let's change the mic position down to center. I think we can reduce that a little bit. Let's take it down to medium and let's change that to mid room. So we've got a little bit of ambience around the microphone. Now the EQ here I'm going to turn off. Now what we can use with the EQ is if we want to take this out live, we can use a GA-FC foot controller and we can switch the EQ in to give us a bit of a boost. So say that we want to have a solo tone, we can just switch that in. But for the moment, just for this purpose, we can leave that switched out. Right, let's go to reverb. I'm going to switch the reverb on. Now the reverb that comes with this preset is a spring. It's a really bright spring. So let's change that to plate. Now what I'm going to do with this sound is I'm going to create an ambient sort of, swirling delay, big sort of reverb sort of sound out of it. So let's turn up the time just a little bit. And let's bring back the tone as I don't want it so bright. Okay, let's bring up the density. And let's just bring up the pre-delay just a little bit. Now the pre-delay is the amount of space before the reverb kicks in. So I can demonstrate that. If I turn up the pre-delay to its full, you can hear the reverb sort of plumes out. If I bring back the pre-delay, it's instant. So we're going to bring the pre-delay up to about 65, it'll be fine. Now let's bring the low cut off, as I don't want to reduce any of the bottom frequencies, but I do want to reduce some of the high frequencies as a plate reverb is normally quite bright. So let's bring that back to about minus 10. And we can bring the high cut back a little bit as well. So let's bring up the global amount of the reverb. So this is also adjustable from the front panel of the Tube Amp Expander. I think we can push it a little bit further. Right, that sounded pretty good. Let's go to the delays and let's switch on the delays. Now, we get this choice here of single pan, stereo, analog, or the SDE 3000. Now, for this sound, I want a panning, I want like a ping pong delay sound. So I'm going to switch it onto the pan delay. Right, let's bring up the time to about 400 milliseconds. And let's bring up the feedback. Right, let's bring back the modulation depth as it's a little bit swirly. Right, let's bring back the tonality of the delays. So if I use a high cut, that's going to dampen down the high frequencies on the repeats. And last of all, let's just bring up the effects level just a little bit. Right, now the last thing we look at is compression. So let's switch the compressor on and we get two choices with this. We've got the Rack 160D or the VTG Rack U. So let's keep it on the VTG Rack U. Right, let's bring back the threshold just a little bit and the ratio. Now that's just starting to chop off the peaks. And let's bring back the attack and speed up the release. So I'm Paul from the Studio Rats. I hope you guys got something out of that. Thanks very much to all of you that have bought me a coffee. I really appreciate it. If you want to buy me a coffee, you can find the link down in the notes. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe and you'll be notified of any future videos that come out from the Studio Rats. I'm Paul from the Studio Rats and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.